Yeah. So, like I was saying, the FEC is a nonprofit organization that offers free financial counseling to to individuals in Allegheny County and surrounding counties. We focus on reducing debt, building savings, and also oops, and also and also increasing, or I'm sorry, also your credit as well. So when you meet with the FEC counselor, we like to tell our clients that everything is confidential. We don't like to, we're non-judgmental center. We don't judge people because everyone comes from all walks of life. And we've kind of, some of us have been there and done that when it comes to our finances. So um, sorry, let me just get to the right screen. So yeah, so that's what we offer. Um, Most of our clients, there's no type of there's no type of income that you have to make. We have clients who make six figures. We have clients who make five figures. We have clients who might be unemployed and looking for employment. People who are on Social Security. So we have people from all walks of life that we help assist them with their financial counseling. Some other things is that as far as talking about your budgeting, one thing that we have clients do that might be not the funnest thing to do, but is actually tracking your spending. Tracking your spending is very important for anyone because you have to know where your money goes. You have to know where, if you need to save up for something, what you need to cut back on. So usually the first session, we talk to clients about tracking their spending for 30 days. And that gives us a look at their finances and see what needs to be worked on. And then that also gives the client as well. Another area when we talk about credit, we do also pull credit reports. So when we do pull your credit report, we take a look at your credit score. We have a partnership with Experian. So we will pull your Experian credit report and we'll take a look at that and see if there's anything that needs to be worked on in that situation. Also with credit, it's always good to look at all three of your credit reports. Like I said, we only have a partnership with Experian, so we'll pull your credit report, but I always tell clients to look at all three of your credit reports. And that's Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And they also, with your credit report, you can get your free credit report through annualcreditreport.com. And I'm going to send you the PowerPoint that I should have been using that's not working right now. I'll send you a copy of that so you can take a look at any of our contact information, any websites like the annual credit report. That is a federal regulated website that allows clients usually to look at their credit report for the once a year. But because of the pandemic, there's a lot of scams going on. So they're allowing consumers to look at their credit reports once a week, which is great. So it's always good to know what's going on and, see if there's mistakes because there's lots of mistakes on credit reports. Sometimes creditors might only report to one credit report. So our credit reporting agency. So they might only report to Equifax. So you might have something on Equifax that's not on Experian. So again, that goes back to looking at all three of your credit reports, making sure everything's correct. And then, if there is something incorrect or if there's something that you need to fix, we definitely work with clients and work on building those goals on if they might have things in collections. But again, that goes back to the budget. So that's why one of the first things that we do is ask you to track your spending for 30 days so we can see what needs to be worked on and what you can save or what you can cut back on. Maybe you might eat out too much and that money, that extra $30, $40 you're spending a month could go towards a savings account or could go towards a bill or go towards a collection account. So it helps us give a microscope look at your finances. Another topic or one of the main things that we also look at is build savings. Savings is always important, no matter how much you make, no matter what walk of life you come from. It's always good to have emergency savings, and then also building a savings for a goal. if you want a house, if you want to, move into an apartment and you need security deposit, things like that. We work with clients on and building those skills. And I always tell clients again is don't think about, oh, I have to put 20% of my savings or 20% of my income into my savings. I tell clients, start where you feel comfortable. If you want to put in $5 a week or $5 a month or $5 every other week, at least it's something that starts building. And then once you start getting used to that, maybe you can start building up in that savings. But you can always start with somewhere. You can even start with $1. But just having that savings can save you so much. And when it does, it starts to build when you kind of leave that savings alone and use it only for emergencies and nothing that you really, except if it's something that you really need. And that's what it's there for emergencies. You, instead of resorting to credit cards and resorting to maybe borrowing money from people, you have that savings account. One thing that I can share personally with me is that I was not planning on buying a car till next year. But my old car just went out on me, and I just didn't want to spend any more money to fix it. So I was, I had that car for like 13 years. So I had it for a while. So I had to go into my savings to put a down payment. And thank goodness I had that, because you just don't know what things might happen. And I need a car, but it all depends on what your wants and needs are. Some people might not need a car. So, but for me, I need a car. I have children, I have, things to do. So I needed that car, and that savings was there. And I said to myself, thank goodness I started saving and just letting that build. Another aspect that we look at with clients is safe banking. A lot of people are unbanked or underbanked. Unbanked means that you don't have a checking or savings account. And a underbanked is when you might have a checking or savings, but it's not with a traditional bank. It might be with, my prepaid card or like accounts like Chime, things like that are considered underbanked. And there's a large percentage of people that are, and I think it's about 16% of Americans are underbanked or unbanked. So one thing that we do work with clients, it's not a lot here in Allegheny County. Most of our clients have bankings and savings, have savings and checking accounts, but when they don't, we definitely have options for them. There is a organization that we have a partnership through Neighborhood Allies. It's called Bank on Allegheny, and it's actually a list of 8, I think maybe 9 now, 9 banks that you've heard of, like PNC, Key Bank, that have these special accounts for individuals who may have had issues or troubles with banks in the past. A lot of clients may have had bank accounts where they might owe money, they might have had overdraft fees, things like that. And those special accounts actually have like no overdraft fees, a low minimum balance or zero minimum balance, things like that might be great for people who usually don't tend to like traditional banks. And it really helps them. And the whole purpose of Banks on Allegheny is to have safe banking for everyone. Everyone should be able to open a bank account and have a checking or savings account. Because when you start thinking about those Chime accounts and as prepaid, there's a lot of other fees that might go into it, or people who take their checks and might go to a check cashing place. You're paying a fee every time you open your or every time you cash a check. And then another thing is that banks are FDIC, they're safe, convenient. And we definitely focus on our clients having safe banking. Does anyone have any questions or anything? I know I've been saying a mouthful about our financial counseling.
I think
If not, I can just go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I think the one question that came up, and I apologize, I didn't hear if you caught this, was when you do the credit pool, can you talk about if other companies can see that or kind of how that works?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great question. And I'm glad you did say that because, yes, when we do pull from Experian, it's a soft pull. So it will not affect your credit score or your credit because it's a soft pull. And then B, also, it's not listed as an inquiry. So no one will see that it was pulled And again, we have a partnership with them. So yes, if you look at your credit report, you'll never see that we looked at it or pulled it, or it doesn't affect your credit score or anything like that. Like some other places that might pull your credit, creditors, sometimes if you get a lot of inquiries, that might affect your credit score or lower your credit score a little bit when you have a lot of inquiries, in a shorter period of time. Great question.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. So, so now I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about, again, your credit. And one thing about your credit is that is not your whole financial story. Yes, credit is important. Don't get me wrong. It is important when you're looking for a house, you're looking for a car, and I mean, just to have, period, just in case if you need those things. It's, you always want to have a, pretty good credit score, but it's not your whole financial story. So there's other things that go into it because it doesn't mark, how much you're saving. There's no indicator on that. There's no indicator on a lot of things that you might be doing to help with your credit or just help with your financial journey or your goals. So just keep that in mind, that that's not your whole story. It's important, but it's not your whole story. And when you do pull your credit report from annualcreditreport.com, just to let you know, if you want your credit score, you would have to pay for that. Getting your credit report is free, but getting your credit score, you do pay for that. When you work with us, Experian, you'll get your FICO score through us. But if you are going on Annual Credit Report, just a heads up that you do have to pay for your credit score if you do want to get that. Also, what else was I going to say about credit reports? I'm sorry. I can't think of that word. I can't think of what I was just about to say about credit reports, but yeah. So, again, just don't think it's your whole financial story, but it is important. And it definitely is good to look at and to make sure everything's correct. Because we've had clients who've had incorrect things on their credit report, that accounts that they've never even had. So again, I know what I was going to say. Some people, I have clients say to me, well, I have Credit Karma and I look at my credit report then and I'm okay. And I tell them, well, Credit Karma, and I also have Credit Karma too. And I look at my Credit Karma, but also just keep in mind, Credit Karma is only TransUnion and Equifax credit reports. It's not Experian. So that's only 2 of the 3. And then it doesn't give you as much details as the annualcreditreport.com does. And when you take a look at your annual credit report, you'll see it will give you like your payment history from the first time from when you first, maybe bought your car. And if you made those each payment each month, it records, if you were paying on time. So it gives you a lot of detail. It also can give you dates like in the state of Pennsylvania, there's a statute of limitation of 7 years for delinquent accounts to be on your credit report. Now that doesn't include student loans, just FYI, because student loans will never disappear. As far as if you default on it, it will still stay on your credit report. But with the credit report, but with other things, they can fall off. Like if you had a credit card and it went default or you stopped paying on it, stays on there for 7 years. So it does tell you when it might fall off. And sometimes, it might fall off at the end of this year, and that would be great if it does fall off. Now, I'm not telling you just to wait till things fall off your credit report or anything like that. But sometimes when you're close to it falling off, and it's like $5,000 and it's going to fall off at the end of December. I mean, who's going to make that payment or just wait for it to fall off? So, that's just a little tidbit to, to tell clients. But of course, I don't condone, just letting things sit on your credit report and not paying your debts, especially if it's your debt. But if it's about to fall off, things like that. But that gives you details like that. And as opposed to like Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, they don't really give you all that information. So again, in the email that I'm going to send, it will have that annualcreditreport.com link. Some of you might have already been on it, I'm not sure, but you can also print out your credit report on that website. You can save it as a PDF. And again, you can look at it once a week, which is awesome. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick
yes.
question? When you were mentioning about the the stuff falling off.
Yes.
What happens whenever your bad debt is sold to another company? Does that restart your 7 years?
Okay, so yes, very good question again. So usually when a debt goes into default or you're not paying it, the company will sell it to a collection agency. And the collection agency, no, it won't start it over. But however, if you have to be very careful of how you talk to collection agencies. And because say, for example, you have something that was sold to a collection agency and they reach out to you and it might be close to like 6 years or something like that. If you talk to them and if there's any kind of language where you admit that that is your debt, that can start the cycle over again to be on there for another 7 years. So we actually at the FEC, we work with clients, as far as doing phone calls with clients, calling collection agencies with clients, calling bill collectors. And we do that, of course, to be supportive. And sometimes the client wants us to lead the conversation and they'll chime in, or sometimes they'll lead the conversation and we'll kind of chime in. And then eventually we want the clients to be able to handle that conversation. But we do reach out to collection agencies and talk to them. And usually collection agencies do want to get rid of the debt and they might have a settlement or, a monthly payment that you can do to pay that off. But yeah, being very careful of how you talk to collection agencies is important. I always tell clients, if you do reach out to them, make sure that you just say, hey, I saw this on my credit report. Can you send me some information about this debt? Instead of saying, yeah, I know I had this bill from such and such, and can you know what I mean? That's more of admitting that you have that you have that debt. So we actually I have an email that I send to clients on just some tips on how to communicate with collection agencies, because they can start that clock over if you do admit it. So yeah, to answer your question, that can start it over, but it all depends on your conversation with them. Now, if you don't ever talk to them and there's no communication, no anything like that, then usually that 7 years will just, go through its course and then fall off. But again, I'm not condoning doing that, but people are in that situation where something might fall off soon. And I've had clients who, I just had a client whose auto loan that was like maybe 10,000 is falling off at the end of this year. So, and that's gonna, when that falls off, that's gonna help with his credit score and things like that. But, I just don't want you guys to think that way, in that kind of terms. Paying your debts is what you should do as an adult, but, if it's gonna fall off,
Things happen. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. All right. Another thing is, as at the FEC, is that we talk to clients, about, we definitely build a rapport with our clients, and money can be stressful. Money can be emotional, physical. I mean, it can play a lot of things in life. So it's not just, money and that's it. I mean, we all know that sometimes money can control us, which we don't want it to, but, sometimes people feel that money is controlling them. And, we definitely, it goes back to that not being judgmental and just being very supportive. Another thing that we do is just accountability. So, it's not that we, you contact us and we just take care of everything and we, we make these calls for you, but we make you accountable. And we want to share that financial literacy with everyone. And, you can share with your kids, your grandkids, and, that type of cycle. If you, like for me, for example, I grew up in a household where we didn't talk about money. I didn't know anything about finance. I know sometimes if my parents, if Christmas wasn't going to be, as big as it might have been the year before, my parents kind of gave us a heads up on that, but we never really talked about money, finances, anything like that. So I didn't learn about that until I became an adult. When I went to college, they don't do this anymore, thanks to Obama, because he passed a law preventing credit card companies from coming on college campuses. But when I was in college, a while back ago, I remember freshman year, there were just people, had tables set up with all these credit card companies. Oh, get a free t-shirt and, get a free mug. And, and when you're 18 years old and you don't have that knowledge, I'm like, okay, I'll just get a free t-shirt or I'll get, and I signed up for credit cards and I think I signed up for like two. I think I got two. And I was in over my head. I didn't know what I was doing. I maxed it out and luckily, my mom helped me pay them down, but, I just didn't have that knowledge of, I don't need a credit card. I'm a college student. I don't have a job. I didn't have a job. I don't know how I was going to pay this, but I just didn't know. So we definitely like to share that literacy, that financial literacy about handling credit cards, because they can really get out of hand, especially if they're increasing your credit amount or your credit limit. And then actually thinking about credit cards, which most people do have, and I'm not saying credit cards are bad. They can be very, very, useful and beneficial if they're used the right way. And, there is a certain amount, and I'm sure you probably may have heard of this, about the 29% rule, that you should not go over 29% of your credit limit. And it does affect your credit score when you are above that. So I really try to get my clients to aim towards lowering their utilization, their percentage, because sometimes I might have clients at like 89, 90% utilization of their credit cards. And then maybe want to get another one and like, no, let's work on this one, get this payment down and, work with what you can handle. And that money, that credit limit that's not free money. That's money you're paying interest on, annual fees. I mean, it's not free money. So people, don't think that, because you have a $5,000 credit limit that you have $5,000. No, that means that you have $5,000 that you might owe plus interest. So, being very careful with credit cards. And I know America is definitely, a lot of people, want to live that life and have that, not living within their means, basically, to put it in, using that credit card, maxing out credit cards, and so they can have these material things. And then when it comes down to it and you have to pay it back, you're struggling, and I've seen it happen where, some people are in $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt, and they're just in over their heads. So, we definitely, again, we work with clients. And then sometimes I might have clients who have great credit, who might just need a little bit more accountability for their goals. So I have a client who her credit score is like 800. She saves very well. She manages her money. She has money left over at the end of each month, but she, and even at myself, and I'm like, okay, what else can I, do for her? And she, she said, what, I just really appreciate the accountability, because I wouldn't have got all these things done and accomplished without that accountability from you, and you calling in and checking in on me and seeing if I've done those things that I said I was going to do. So it really kept me on top of it. So again, it's not always people who might have the worst credit or, the worst, again, all walks of life might have great credit, but just a little accountability, or maybe just like a little goal setting and things like that they might need. So, we're here for anyone, no matter what, position they're in as far as their money. And what else I was going to say is there are 4 counselors right now, including myself. And some of us work in evenings. So if you're ever interested in, if you work late, we have clients that we might work at 6 o'clock or up to 7 o'clock. So, we definitely have that flexibility. And, I always tell everyone I'm not lying. I love my job. This is the best job I think I've ever had, and just working with clients and helping them with their financial goals and just seeing them, prosper and doing, and it's not overnight for some clients. So it's not like it's just, overnight. I tell them that there might be certain steps that we have to take, several steps we have to take before we get to that goal that you want to get to. But, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to do my best to help you with this. So, so I love my job. I love what I do. And I really feel that we are making a difference with our clients.
Thank you so much
So,
for that.
I apologize.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
remembering everything. I'm trying to remember everything from the PowerPoint, but
You-
I just wanted to, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my computer, but just overall, we just really would love to work with more clients and help them reach their financial goals. And again, we're non-judgmental. We're here for you. And so let's get to work. We're here.
Jennifer, thank you so much. And please, you do not have to apologize. I think especially through the pandemic and now in 2021, we all understand the
Thank you.
constraints that we have with technology. So
Okay.
that's okay. So we appreciate you just working through it and,
No worries.
just giving us all the information anyways. Yeah, Ms.
Yes.
Danielle says, thank you very much. You're very thorough and knowledgeable. So thank you for that.
Oh,
I have a question that came up, and I'm thinking it might be a little bit more appropriate for when we do the credit series next week, but I'm wondering
okay.
about
Yes. With Alicia.
when you do refinancing. So when people are thinking about like refinancing their student loans or like their vehicles or things like that, is that
Mhm.
something that ends up impacting your credit negatively?
Oh, when you refinance,
Mhm.
I would say no. Well, of course, when you have to refinance, they're going to pull your credit. So that's going to be listed as an inquiry. So that will, have a little effect. And I think like inquiries, they stay on your credit report for 2 years, and it might affect it by a few points. Now, if you are looking to refinance and you're going to a lot of places in a certain period of time, it can, if it's pulling your credit, it can do that. But as far as like refinancing, I mean, if you're trying to get a lower rate and lower monthly payment, I mean, that's awesome. That's what, you definitely should do. So yeah, not that I know of. And maybe you can ask Alicia because she's a credit person. She has a lot of knowledge, but as far as I know, no, it shouldn't have any effect except for like if you're getting your credit pulled and it might affect, your score that way from inquiries. But yeah, we always try to look for clients. Like if I have a client that might have a high rate in their auto loan, first we talk about refinancing and, different options and, going to different places. But then of course we look at their credit report and see, okay, well, usually when you have a higher rate, that has to do with, your credit score and your credit report and your credit history and your credit worthiness. So yeah, it's be beneficial for you. So if you are looking to refinance student loans or auto loans, we definitely would encourage that because again, that's saving you money. You're getting a lower interest rate. You'll be able to pay that off sooner. So yeah, we definitely encourage those.
Thank you so much for that.
And
Go ahead, Devon.
no, I just wanted to say thank you too, and thank you to Ms. Danielle for asking that question about restarting the 7-year period over. I didn't know, like you said, be very careful of the language you use with them because that could maybe possibly start it all over again. So I really truly thank you for that information, and yes, working through the technology issues. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, in this day and age. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to answer some questions and I hope it was thorough enough. But again, I'm going to send you Kiyomi. Am I saying your name correctly? Am I correct?
You are, yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to send you the would-be PowerPoint, and then that has all of our contact information. There's different ways that you can, we have a call center or let me not say call center, but we have a line where you can call to schedule an appointment. We also have, you can do it online, and I'll send all that information for you. So hopefully we'll get some new clients and be able to help you. Because I mean, everybody has some type of financial goal in life, no matter where you are. There should be, at least you should have a financial goal. Short-term goals. We work with long-term goals with clients. Sometimes clients may say, hey, I'll work with you. I mean, they might, complete their goal and say, hey, I don't really need to work with you right now. I think I accomplished all my goals. And guess what? If they want us to come back in a year, they can come back. So it's continuous. So it's no, oh, you only get 5 sessions or this amount of time. We work with, it's continuous. So Sometimes you stop for a little bit and you're okay, and then something else might come up and you need our assistance. So we're always here. So you can always come back.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else out in Facebook land or here with us on Zoom have any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much for your time again. Truly, it is a pleasure every time we've worked with anyone from the FEC. Like, you can tell how passionate you are about the work that you're doing, and that you're happy at what you do. And that really matters, that people can come to someone that loves what they're doing and enjoy spending that time with them. So I definitely get that vibe from you, and I've gotten it from everyone we've worked with there. So we really appreciate you all for your time and the work that you're doing. So thank you so much. And for anyone that's watching, please join us again next week. We'll be working with the FEC again, and we'll be talking about credit, which I know is just sort of like a mind-boggling thing. So I definitely encourage you all to join us then. I know I'll be learning a lot of things, and then we'll make sure to send out those resources. But thank you again, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.